when the world's too dark of a place to be, and you need an escape from reality. Open up those pages, it's sci-fi or fantasy, whatever genre you please. And join a book club, 'cause you won't read it on your own. Join a book club, so you'll be held accountable. It's just a means to an end, but you're doing it with your friends, so join the book club by DLC.
Hello there, book clubbers! Welcome back to us, really. We took a week off. I was traveling with my family in the UK. What a wonderful time that was. But I missed all of you. I missed dancing. And most of all, I missed you, Lana Bachynski. How are you?
I'm doing great. I had, it was serendipity that you were in London because I was an equally fun work trip, I'm sure. Same amount of exploration and joy.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you were working hard. I was also working hard on getting my kids to handle London, but it was fun. We had a great time. But so glad to be back. So glad to be digging right back into the Crippled God, chapters 11 and 12 this week. Lots to get to, of course. But we start, as we like to, with a non-spoiler topic. These are sent in the best cases, by you, our viewers, listeners, folks. And if you have a topic you'd like us to discuss on the show, please do not hesitate. dlcfeedback@gmail.com is the great place to send that. We got one. This comes from T Baggins. T Baggins writes, T Baggins here. I've been following your journey since you picked up Gardens of the Moon, which I believe was around the time I finished reading The Crippled God.
Oh.
Following your read-through has been like taking this journey all over again with new friends, and it's been so fun watching you traverse the emotional highs and lows of the series while reliving my own experience. This is my first submission for a non-spoiler topic, and it's sort of different. You've reached the end. Almost. Can you talk a little bit about your favorite endings and what makes a great ending for you? Movies, books, games, series, etc. Thank you so much for taking this journey. Have a blast. Thank you, T Baggins. I'm so glad that you have been reliving your own journey alongside us. We're not quite at the ending yet, maybe a little premature for this question, but the ending is in sight of the great 10 novel journey. So Lana, what makes a great ending for you?
Is this where we have to kind of say spoilers starting now for an indeterminate number of pieces of media? Like, if you've read or played or like watched anything, spoilers maybe for you?
That's tough. Yeah, that really reduces the number of people that can watch from here on in. But it's okay.
I think this is an interesting question because I feel like what makes a good ending, it has been so variable. Like the things that I've enjoyed in a good ending, sometimes the ending having the perfect tie together of all the things, and it's just pure satisfaction of being like, I got all of the pieces of the puzzle and I saw them all fall into place at long last. That's a type of satisfaction. But sometimes there's a little bit of that, like a little mystery thread left open that leaves you wondering. I think of, the Inception, watching Inception for the first time and having that ending sort of leave you with a question where it's satisfying, but also, is this real? Is it not real?
What's up, Top? What are you doing, Top? Are you spinning? What's going on?
Are you falling? Are you spinning? Are you falling? Catch your balance? What's going on there, buddy? And that was like a joyful little mystery at the end of that in its own. And both of those things I find to be very satisfying. But if I were to think about what kind of thing I enjoy more, well, it's more like a mood thing. One of them gets you talking more about extrapolating the future of the piece of media, and one you just get to like bask in the glory of what you experienced. What about you? Is there like a specific ending that comes to mind, or like type of ending that you find satisfying?
No, it's interesting. I think you were kind of in one way talking about like ending on a question mark, or
Uh-huh.
ending on a period, or ending on an exclamation point, right?
Yeah.
And all of those, I think, are viable endings, in their own way. Like, you know, each can work. Each can also completely not work.
Mhm.
You know, I am certainly not the first to make this observation. You know, I think I read this somewhere, but it really rings true. An ending, the perfect ending, is inevitable and surprising.
Yeah.
That's real hard to do. It's real hard. It's real hard. And when you get that, oh my God, it had to be this way. It all had to be this way. It was inevitable. Everything built up to this, and oh my gosh, it couldn't have gone any other way. But I did not see this coming.
Mm-hmm.
That is magic. When you've captured those two opposing forces at the same time, that's when you feel like, what an ending. Wow. Yes. Of course. But also what? You know, that's the best. But I agree with you that it's a mood thing, because it's hard to know what that is before you experience it. And it's also, you know, like you said, sometimes ending with a question mark, sometimes not wrapping everything up. Sometimes
it's is there an equivalent of like a sad period? Like I think of a book and a piece of and a video game that both I remember like finishing and being like, well, and then like crying for 10 minutes after the book was concluded.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow was one that I felt like there's like elements of it that like going through the ending, I guess just as a game dev, I was like, well, you couldn't do that, you know, just like a little silly, but like just the overall sort of experience of Sadie and I forget, Matt, I think was the other guy.
I still need to read that. I haven't read that yet.
Oh my goodness. You must.
I gotta.
You must. Oh my goodness. Yes. I won't say anything about the ending then, but other than finishing it and just feeling like feeling so deeply. And the video game that made me just feel is I think we've mentioned it on an earlier thing, is What Remains of Edith Finch.
Yeah. One of my favorites of all time.
And just, it was like tragic, but it wasn't like I was bawling through the thing. It was just so sad and struck to like my heart. And the fact that you're like engaging in this story in the walking simulator kind of way of like the joy that is sort of expressed through the ending, but you know it's actually laced in misery. It's just brutal. And
yeah, I mean, a good
ending is so satisfying in its own way, and it sticks with me for so long. But if you're like, what's your favorite ending? It's not like, oh, that's my most fun ending. Right. You know, it's
No, I agree. Sometimes like with tragedy, the ending is poignant and powerful and perfect. The 3 Ps, as I call them. But you wouldn't want it that way. You know, it is happening despite what you as the reader are hoping, or the viewer or whatever it is are hoping for. You know, I think of The Road, the Cormac McCarthy novel, as one that shook me, and you know, it's not the ending I would have wanted.
Yeah.
But it was incredibly powerful. And so, you know, endings are tricky. Endings are hard. Beginnings are much easier than endings. And I think that I have had many experiences of something I have absolutely loved all the way through, but the ending soured for me. You know, Battlestar Galactica, the TV series, for example.
I've not seen it, but I'm watching it soon.
Stop watching after season 4, I think it is.
Yeah.
When you hear Jimi Hendrix, stop watching. That's my advice. Just let it be unresolved. It's okay. And you know, there are others where it's like everything was great until the end. Almost every Stephen King book in the last 10 years, 15 years.
I mean, the Dark Tower series, I assume you've read.
Yes.
That one, I
Yes.
mean, there's like a couple books at the end that dip into
Yes.
silliness. That's like,
Yes.
oh my God. But I actually found the ending of that to be interesting.
Yeah. Interesting. Certainly interesting. I don't know if it was satisfying. Anyway, no pressure on the rest of this novel. But I have a feeling we're going to be pretty. I don't know what to expect, honestly.
I know
how my feelings will be, because do you remember last time we spoke to Steven? He had that enigmatic thing right at the end. He said, "I know you guys think this is headed to a dark place," or something along those lines. Where he's like, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know what to make of that."
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, let's get to it. Thank you, by the way, T Baggins, for sending that in. Please, folks, we are in need of some new topics, so send them dlcfeedback@gmail.com. All right, spoilers starting now for chapter 11 of The Crippled God. We start in a very odd place, surprising place. Not where we have been hanging out. We're not in the wasteland. We're not in the crystal desert, the glass desert. We shoot over to coral for a moment, which is no longer black coral because all the Tystandi have left. And we meet up with Spindle of all people.
Mm-hmm.
Did not expect. And we have this sort of little almost interlude moment of Spindle off in coral, like his new job. Basically, he's like, man, I really went through a lot. And now I'm just sort of living the life of a guy sort of cleaning things up and working my day job. And we're reminded of the High Priestess of the Redeemer. I'm like, wait, that wasn't even last novel. How many novels ago was that? I don't remember. But that was, our chick who was on the gunkus.
On the multi...
Whatever the gunkus was called. Remember the gunkus?
Everybody knows the chick on the gunkus.
Yeah, the chick on the gunkus. You remember her. The High Priestess. Kellic. Yeah, and she had all the arms.
Yeah.
Going crazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
this is sort of the name is in the book somewhere.
Definitely. I would tell you, but I don't want to.
We all know it, so let's not even say it.
But this is the fallout of that moment, those events that we experienced very intimately, and Spindle is there, like working, but all the Tystandi have left Black Coral. Light shines there, so it is no longer dark and perpetual night.
Yeah.
And while he's there, he's like, man, this is crazy. It sure is nice that I don't wonder where they all went, but it sure is nice. Nothing weird is happening, right? And then everything weird happens.
And then Alfred Hitchcock's like, what's up?
Yeah. The birds, right. The great ravens all take wing. And if you recall, Lana, as I'm sure you do, the great ravens, we have been told, are associated with the Crippled God in some way, right? Do you remember? They were birthed by him or created by him.
They were like pieces of him that fell around and became the birds.
Yeah. So, Tystandi peacing out. Where are they headed? And Great Ravens peacing out. Where are they headed? Feels like maybe everybody's coming to where we have been hanging out with everybody else.
What's interesting that I thought, and this is just maybe a silly detail, but I thought that this place had become Black Coral because of the power of the magic at the battle that had happened there. Was it always? Because it was coral and then it became Black Coral. But now that the Tystandi have left,
right?
They're like, pack it up. Somebody put that darkness away. Okay, darkness ain't going to carry itself. Like, I didn't realize it was like an aura that they brought with them.
Yes. I don't know if it's just like an innate aura or if they like sanctified the ground in some, they said,
they
this is our house.
It.
This is our home. Nighttime. We're the midnight folks.
We like it like this.
We like it like this. Yeah. Turn out all the lights. This is what we like.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know which one of those is correct, but either way, they leave, the light arrives.
Or if like the dance from the Priestess of the Redeemer, like
right, undid it.
Yeah.
The other thing is that Spindle is very preoccupied with the fact that only a bastard would say that faith comes from terrible suffering, which I went, isn't that the Crippled God's like whole deal?
Yeah, there's a couple things in this thing.
Yeah.
That
seems like that was a not too subtle reference to the Crippled God himself, but I don't know what we should take from it exactly. Threads.
There's the threads of like, but is that the threads of like somebody, as we have been sort of uneducated about the Crippled God? Because there's a lot of Crippled God empathy through these chapters as well.
One might even say compassion.
Somebody might.
All right. So the next scene, we are with Banishar, who is woefully without drink. There's no more alcohol in the the trail of soldiers. So has to sober up. He's got to, he's going cold turkey out of necessity and not happy about it. And there's this really interesting sequence where this worm shows up that has multiple mouths. I was like, oh, that's so cool. It's so sick. And they're like, let's bet on it.
Banishar is like, hashtag not my worm.
That's right. That's right. I was like, I'm all about the worms, but like, not that one. Not that one. And he says that something died here. There's this great death that happened in the wasteland that has somehow torn through the land, shocked the land. There's a couple of mentions. I think Sinter talks about this later, about there's some great tragedy, some great death that happened here. Something died. And the power unleashed in that wild death delivered such a wound upon the sleeping goddess. So it feels like something I don't know if that's just like backstory or if that feels kind of important to me. But
yeah, well, every time there's been like a really magic devoid area, there's been some kind of death has been present. A big battle that they used up all the magic so that there couldn't be any more here. It feels like it, checks out. Checks out.
Next up, we check in with Blistig, who's just a real jerk. Come on, buddy. He goes over to Pores because he thinks they're like on the same page as being jerkwads. And he's like, "Hey,
always a jerk." He's like become more of a jerk.
He started out as like a low key jerk, and now he's just turned into
full
primo jerk.
High key jerk. Right.
That's right. We've evolved into major jerkwad, literally undermining the entire morale of the team.
I feel like it's like reading Blistig at some points. It's like if you like always hung out with somebody but never went to dinner, and then you go to dinner and you see your friend being rude to the server, and you're like, oh, I thought we were friends. No, you're like bad. You're like bad guy.
Yeah. Well, he's being a supreme bad guy in this moment because he's literally making arrangements to hoard water. There is a dearth of water in the ranks. Everybody, I mean, we get to like drinking our own pee-pee.
They're great. Pretty quickly going straight into pee-pee town. They're like, how long can you tolerate pee-pee before I give you water? We're going to save water. Try pee-pee.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, but I think this is a really interesting dilemma where it's like, well, we're rationing water, but we literally can't plan for the rationing because we don't know how long it's going to take us to get across the desert because the one lady who knows that information ain't telling.
Yeah.
And so, Blistig, for all his jerkwaddom, which is significant, he also has a decent point to make about the fact that the lady is withholding the very important information that could help them actually do this better. And he's, his position is she's not going to kill me. You know what? We're all going to our deaths. Not this guy, not the one with the thumbs and also the water.
Yeah, you think you have everybody wrapped around your little finger? You ain't got me.
That's right.
You ain't got me.
And so he goes to Pores and is like, hey, Pores, I know that you're all about the schemes. You got schemes. You're always scheming.
And he's
Let's
like,
scheme together.
Am I?
Yeah. He's like, yes, schemes, not stealing water from thirsty soldiers, but schemes, sure.
Mhm.
Anyway, so he's like, okay, Pores, we're in this together, right, buddy? Right. You hold my water. Don't give it to anybody.
I'll give you some guards, like a
Yeah.
handful of guards. They'll definitely help if people
Yeah.
are dying of thirst.
Yeah. So he leaves, and Pores is immediately like, hey, Himble, come here.
I love Himble.
Himble's the coolest, dude. No
Oh my
fingies.
God.
Lost his fingies. I like
Thumbs
that
though.
he lost his fingies, but not at the same time. You
Yeah.
know? He lost the fingies on one hand, and then later on he lost the fingies on another hand. Very funny.
I like how Pores,
sad but funny.
Yeah. And Pores is like, you can get fitted with stuff that still would let you like strap on a shield. And he's like, nah, that's fine. This is better. And he's the, what's it called? He's not the stenographer.
He's the clerk.
The clerk. He's the clerk. Yeah. And so the scribe, basically. So he takes down the dictation from Pores.
He's like, I still got a thumb. Works. I can hold the pencil with my thumb.
He's like, actually, my writing is way better than it used to be.
I love his like indomitable spirit. I love his just positivity. He was like, I lost my fingies. Life got better. Well, I don't know. It's great.
I pulled a big chunk of this scene for one of my favorite quotes because it's so cute.
It's delightful. Yes.
But so they finished their thing where Pores is sending a missive to somebody else. I forget who he's sending it to.
Kindly.
To Captain Kindly, of course. He goes, go give him the note, He takes it down.
The best part is that he dictates this flowery.
Well, I pulled the whole thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but it's so great. He's like doing it on the wax.
Oh my God. It's so good.
Yeah.
And then as he leaves, he's like, I know that guy says he doesn't want to, but I am going to get like straps for him. Some kind of leather, something that we can make sure that we can strap it on, because the 10 soldiers Ballistic are sending over, let me tell you, they ain't going to do nothing if things get bad around here. And I need at least one more bodyguard.
Yeah. So like Pores, who's also been kind of a jerko, I'm like, he's kind of a good guy after all. I like him.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, delightful scene, and delightful, that he's got the verbose message. He sums it up small. And then later on, when they're like, what's the message? He tells it word
perfectly.
For word. Incredible.
The best so 1-2 punch.
Yeah. Just great.
Amazing.
All right. So speaking of Kindly, we pop over. Kindly, Lestara Yill, Feridan Sort, Ruth and Good are meeting up with Tavor to discuss, things aren't going great. I wouldn't say great in that we have no water. Everybody's getting a little morale well.
Everybody's feeling just a little bit
pissy. Can I say pissy?
What's the word for when you're gonna take over mutinous? Just a light mutiny feeling. Mutiny.
Yes.
I just gotta say that I feel a little sigh of relief every time I read Ruth and Good and I don't have to sit there feeling dumb.
Yeah.
It was such a comment from Steven Erikson in one of our earlier videos.
Yeah.
Really let me off the hook for every time I see his name, I'm like, he's somebody somewhere.
Well, he has a couple of moments here that are rad where, so they're discussing with Tavor about, hey, there's a lot of rumors going around about you. Sure would be nice if you, I don't know, dispelled them and literally just told us anything of value about what's going on inside your old noggin. And she's like,
name some rumors.
Yeah.
Hit me with a few of the rumors.
Are you maybe in league with the god or like elder gods or younger gods or like what are you doing? She's like, those are interesting rumors. All right. Okay. And she basically gets into this kind of challenge with Kindly, who's like, hey, these guys and gals are going to going to what we presume is their death. They have to have something. We're going to lose them. They are going to mutiny. They got to have something.
And this scene is interesting because we did already get the scene with like the parlay, where we do know what Tavor's plans are. So seeing what the rumors are around the camp is
Yeah.
like interesting to see how far off if the
Right.
soldiers really are.
Well, but it don't necessarily mean they're mutually exclusive, right? Because
Yes.
she's got some sort of shaved knuckle in the hole going on. She's got a secret. There's stuff she's holding close to the vest.
Absolutely,
you know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
But from the information presented, there's like a seeing at least two sides of something.
Yes.
Some sides of something.
Yes. But we have this very interesting exchange where she's like, hey, what are you going to do? Are you going to stand in front of the crippled God and, be hard and unfeeling? Because basically Kindly's position is you're asking the soldiers to feel, to be weak, to be sensitive.
Yeah.
When like that's anathema to what they do. You can't do that and be a soldier. You have to be hardened. You have to close off the emotions so that you can kill things and people.
Yeah.
And she's like, no. Then then you make yourself hard. Stand in front of the crippled God and say, I'm hard. I don't feel anything. My feelings are cold. And he's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not standing in front of the crippled God. And she
says, look the crippled God in the eyes.
Yes, right.
He's like, I'm not standing in front of him. I can't look him in the eyes. And she goes,
his exact line is, he does not stand before me. And Tavor says, doesn't he?
What does that mean?
What does he mean?
I'm like, Tavor didn't have a role in the reading. Is that because she is able to like keep something so hidden? Is the power of her own sacrifice of her family and the longing for these siblings count as something that would tie her to the crippled God? Like, is she just the crippled God? Because didn't we see the crippled God was with oh my goodness, the gold covered gentleman.
Yes. Roulade.
Yeah,
but and he's been in the tent and he's interacted with Withal. Like we've seen him as a corporeal being.
Yeah.
That isn't Tavor. So I don't think she's actually the crippled God, but maybe she's like a high priestess of the crippled God. She's a representative of the crippled God. I don't know what she means there. Or he
can see through her eyes
somehow?
Is it like Male who can like see through all water? Can he see through anybody who's
hurt,
torn up physically, emotionally, spiritually?
That's a lot of people in this world.
Exactly. That's why he's everywhere.
Yeah. I don't know, but very interesting. Also, when Ruth and Good exits the tent, Banishar like does a weird gesture to him, and I don't know what that's about.
I thought the gesture was like, "Shut the hell up."
I mean, maybe, but it felt like it was like a religious or some sort of like knowing. I don't know what questions is all I'm saying.
Yeah. A lot of questions and a lot of a potent emotion as well.
Potent emotion, for sure. I don't even know what she kind of means, honestly. Like, I had a hard time kind of grokking the substance of what she's saying in that. I mean, I get one level of it, but I feel like there's a deeper level that I'm not quite penetrating yet. But this notion of her, like, I'm holding that so they don't have to me is a bit of an abstraction that I'm not grasping onto quite yet.
The thing that I sort of, I agree with you that I feel like there's some big chunk of this that is slipping between my fingers as I read the scene. The thing that I'm thinking about is her ability to look at somebody who has been objectively tortured and tormented, is physically incapable of defending themselves against people who would just drink their power and like abuse them, and like the abuse that the crippled God we're sort of being revealed is suffering,
right,
because of being torn down. She's able to look at that straight on, and I kind of liken it to our conversations about Hetan. People, it's a luxury to look away that Tavor doesn't give herself. She's staring straight at it and owning like humanity's terrible everything,
But
so
I
other
think
people can be whatever. That was like my only sort of thought.
no, I think that's spot on. But I also think there's an aspect of like she holds the compassion that the soldiers don't have to in some sense.
Oh.
That there's this like she is considering the other side in a way that the soldiers aren't burdened with.
It kind of gave me Shield Anvil vibes.
Yes, for sure. And I think it's just this recurring theme in the series,
Yeah.
right? Anyway, as they leave, Kindly is like, she can't be doing this. We can't open our hearts. And then Ruth and Good is the one who really like puts them in their place. And that's the part where I was just like, I don't know exactly what Ruth and Good's point is here. I mean, I get his point in a certain sense, but like, you know, he's like, shut up, dude. She is feeling what we can't feel. And I don't know if that is, to my mind, a complete retort to what Kindly is saying, right? Because Kindly is still saying like, she's got to let us in a little bit because we're literally in a wasteland, you know, literally and figuratively, we're walking blind. So yeah.
And somewhere in this scene, wasn't it that they're like, what are your soldiers saying? Is that this scene?
Tell me about like they say nothing. Or Ferdinand Swart is like, my soldiers say nothing.
Are her soldiers Dead Smell and folks who actually did get let in to, like Dead Smell came and did healing on Tavor and like left like shattered, which everybody was like, that's weird. Anyway, back to the march.
Yeah.
I feel like, to me, that was like an unspoken thing of like, oh, they did get a peek and now they don't say a peek. They're in it for what they have to be in it for.
Huh. Interesting. I didn't take it that way. That's cool. You know, another couple cool Ruth and Good moments where he's like, I thought about just peacing out. I thought about abandoning ship here and just walking away from all you, and none of you could have stopped me. Like his like just calm confidence about how much more powerful he is than everybody else. It was pretty badass.
Yeah.
I love that. And then he goes back to his tent with Scanero and he's like, hey, so I didn't tell you this before, but I thought about just leaving. And, you know,
she was like, oh, I didn't know you felt that way. He's like, no, leaving the army. She's like, I'm in the army.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I would have kidnapped you.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh,
baby, stop.
That is the best marriage proposal ever.
Yeah, he's like, but I decided that I can't leave the army, so I guess we can keep hanging out forever.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'll start planning a dress.
She's like, what do you think of these colors?
Yeah.
Then the next scene is where we start getting into drinking our own wee-wee, which is not
good
pleasant.
Old piss jugs.
Piss bottles.
Is it the one where they're like, everybody has their own bottle of their own piss, but they're like,
so
you
gross.
want mine? We could swap these. And they're like, maybe I could convince myself that this is my kink if I'm drinking yours.
I think it's actually Bottle who says that. He's like, I don't know, maybe I'm like, it's like cool, icky but cool. Like maybe I'm into it. Maybe I'm into that. Maybe I could be into that.
If I'm dying in the desert, I could be into some real pee-pee stuff.
Very funny. Yeah, and there's more conversations among them about how they are blind. And there's this weird, really interesting moment where Bottle's like, hey, wait a second. Who came up with that whole Bone Hunter's name? And I think Tar is like, I think it was the adjunct. It was Tavor.
Yeah, it was
and
Fid.
Bottle's like, how could she have known? And I'm like, known what? Interesting little tease there.
But it wasn't Tavor. Fid made it seem like it was Tavor's idea.
Oh, really?
Yes, Tavor was there, and I believe it was Fiddler saw that Tavor was like losing control of the army. It was like right after all the bone.
Right. Well, he came up with the idea of putting the fingy bones on necklaces and stuff. And like, but didn't she say now you'll be my bone hunters, or like she like said the name?
Oh yeah, but I guess
I think it's the name itself
just
is the important
specifically
part.
the name. Well, then
Yeah.
that probably was Tavor with the
Yeah,
with the old alley oop.
it was an alley. It was an assist, a strong assist from Fiddler. Anyway, so they talk about how they're guessing that Quick Ben is not dead, and they have this weird conversation about how like the desires of the army are weird. Like we don't want money anymore. We're not into loot. Like what do we even want? We've all kind of transitioned over into this weird place of being the Walking Dead. Fiddler's speech about being the Walking Dead. And then we sort of have this wonderful series of scenes. I really love this chapter. It reminded me of that amazing chapter 7, I want to say, of the Bone Hunters with going through Igatan, where we're sort of like going down the line as they were going through the tunnels and underneath Igatan. It reminded me of that again, where we're sort of like going down the marching line, and there's these wonderful links where the next scene they'll hear laughter from the previous scene or something. I loved that. I just thought the geography of that was really cool.
I agree.
And it just feels like the camera is panning down and then lingering on this group and panning down, and we're all marching. We're all in this awful death march, but there's life, there's vibrancy, there's little dramas all in there, and Erikson is just so good at doing all of that.
Yeah, I very, very much agree.
So Widdershins and Dead Smell and all them are like bottlenose something, and there's this wonderful thread that starts about everybody thinking there's like this inner circle, and it's so funny. I loved it because it is exactly what you would think, where it's like, those are the cool kids, and I want to be one of the cool kids. But I also love that it sort of works on a meta level also of like, who are the main characters? You know, like all of the side characters, like, I want to be a main character. Like the main characters know stuff and get to do cool things. And I'm just a side character.
The inner circle seems like they stay alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to
do really important things and talk about important stuff. Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, it's definitely these people. And they're like naming them all. And they're like, that could be us. And they're like, one sec, I got this.
It's so great.
And then going and being like, so have we proven ourselves yet? Or like, I think we deserve to be in. And I forget who it is like, you did it.
Yeah, it's a character we didn't even know, Clasp. Clasp is like, yep, you guys are now in the inner circle. And they're like, yeah.
Yes.
We did it.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Just all it took was them just saying, yeah, you're in.
But it's also then so cute because then they run up and they're delightful. Like, we're in. They have like
they look back and like wink and it's so cute.
They go off and they have their thing. And then I think that's one of the links between the next scene where they're like, oh my God, I cannot wait to tell the others about these.
So good. Well, the first one is like everybody thinking, Cinter is in the inner circle. It's just like, I'm not in the inner circle. There's no inner circle. I'm not in the inner circle.
And they're like, and how do you know things? Because we can tell you know things. And she's like, well, I can't control that.
Yeah.
I know things, but like against my will.
I just figured it out. I don't know. Yeah. So good. And we get this little moment with Cinter flashing back to like exploring these really creepo crypt caves. And thinking that she's been buried alive and being scared about burying alive, and thinking that Kissware, her sister, shouldn't have come back, and it makes it harder for everybody because she came back, and then we flash, we move right to Kissware's wagon where she's being carried along because her leg is shattered, and she's in all this pain and kind of feverish. She's contracted, gangrene or whatever it is from her injury.
And she's like sort of feeling Cinter has clearly been like, sort of had control of herself and her life, and felt like she had a lot of agency, and felt like she always had to clean up though after Kissware.
Yeah.
And Kissware feels like she's not doing anything worthwhile for anybody. And it really comes to a head here. Like her lack of her really, really negative self perspective, that she's like, I can tell that this is bad, and I'm not going to say anything to anyone. I'm just going to let whatever's happening happen.
Right. I know that I have a fever. Nobody else does. And then she literally falls off the wagon because she's, in such a bad shape, and they freak out. I thought that was a very powerful, very powerful sequence.
Yeah, me too.
Of her just like you said, sort of silently suffering, and then literally to the point where she falls out of the wagon. And then we get some comic relief too, because we head over to Hellion and have some just classic Hellion sobering up moments.
Hellion and Banish are both being like, remember alcohol? Damn.
Yeah. So good. And then Herb, poor little Herb, who's like, oh, this is how she really is. This is her sober. Do I even like her? Does she like me? What am I even doing? I can't. Just poor little Herb.
Poor little Herb. He's like, I don't know if I like her, but I do know that I gotta be there. She doesn't even know that I protected her. She doesn't even know that I've been like all the lengths I've been to for her, but I'm not going to stop now.
Yeah. Just a little unrequited Herb.
Oh,
yeah. Really lovely. And then we have a moment where Flashwit and Gaunt Eye talk about skull death, and like how awesome is this dude? Why is he even called Skull Death? Well, did you see him leap? Do you see the scars on his arms that mark all of the Naruk that he took down?
All the beheadings that he sliced at their neck. But the number that he took down, they're like, well, we just left it at 7. Otherwise, his whole body would be covered.
Yeah, I love it where they're like, oh yeah, no, yeah, I guess he's awesome, but real conceited that he like marked it on his arms. Like he was keeping count. He's like, no, we were keeping count, and that's just somebody we thought.
Yeah,
he just did that because we said it. He's awesome. Yeah, that was cool.
But then didn't it cut to Skull Death or somebody being like, hey there, hey, like blowing kisses?
No, that was because he's
he's I don't want to say he's confused because he keeps thinking that he's in love with Hellion. I think
he wants her to be his bride because he's the prince and needs a bride.
Oh,
but I think he likes the boys.
Yes,
yeah. So then we have this kind of heartbreaking moment with Hedge, who it's funny where you have Fiddler giving this in the last chapter, giving this powerful Walking Dead speech, and then you see through this chapter all the scenes of everybody kind of dealing with that and what it means and how powerful it is to be the Walking Dead. And then you cut to Hedge and he's like, so Fiddler gave the old Walking Dead speech to everybody, I guess. I had just like Dasim Ultor used to, and just like, Dujek One Arm used to. It's just like the same speech and everybody gives.
And Hedge being like literally like walking undead, used to be dead, not dead guy.
Yeah.
His irreverence towards that, being the only one who could truly stake a claim in Walking Dead, is very funny.
I agree. And we have, like I said, it's a little bit heartbreaking because he has this interaction with Babadict, he's like, I don't even like Fiddler. Who I liked is all the other bridge burners. I like those guys. They're all dead. And he's like, well, you liked all the dead ones and you don't like the one that's still around that you can hang out with? He's like, yeah, he's a jerk. I never liked him. And he's in this, it's interesting because he has been alive and dead, and now he's between both, and Fiddler's alive and Whiskey Jack and all the others are dead and like literally in the realm of the dead. And so he's caught between neither place. I just found that to be really poignant and a lovely juxtaposition for poor old Hedge, where he's like, I'm not either of them anymore. And he sort of resents it,
It also, I'm so sorry. I have no control over the outside noise.
Not that
it also feels like a defense mechanism, being like, I don't even like Fiddler, because Fiddler is like, I can't look at you. I saw you die already.
Right. Yeah. So then, we've been with all of the bone hunters, all of the Malazan army walking through, and then we jump away, and now we're with Justara, who, it's so interesting to me. One of the questions maybe I'll bring up with Steven next time we talk to him is, it's so interesting to me what he chooses to have be off screen. Because the last time we left Justara and Gaul, he was like, I'm not going to sleep with you. I'm not going to sleep with my dead son's wife. Not doing it. I'm too sad. And
but he still showed up at her tent.
Yeah. Well, then we cut back and they've been like doing it and doing it and doing it well.
Yeah.
It's like, it's interesting to me. He does this frequently in the novels where, there'll be a jump and we get filled in as to a sort of a very significant change in the status quo that has already happened. And I find it really interesting. And I'm not criticizing it. I think it's actually really cool thing as the reader to be like, oh, wow, that has happened.
The fact that we're getting it from Justara's POV too is interesting. Yeah. Like the third party in between Gaul and Hanavat, who we already knew. Very interesting.
Yes. And, and she's like, well, I'm not going to talk to Havanat. I know she hates me. And then we cut to Havanat and Shelamasa is like, you hate her, right? And she's like, no, I don't hate her. People got to do what people got to do. And all of you are going to sit there and judge her and whisper your rumors and be catty about it. But nobody asked me if I was mad.
Don't do it on my behalf. Shelamasa is clearly trying to say things to like kind of gas up Hanavat. And she's like, I didn't ask you to do that. And I don't want you to do that. You want me as your outlet to do the thing that you were going to do already. Do it to each other. Do it for yourself. But on my behalf, I am just so sad. I'm so sad for Gaul because I know that he sees everything as ruined, feels like he's lost everything, including me, despite the fact that I'm right here.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Justara because, like, how do you deny that? Because even in Justara's head, she's like, there's like something that she says in her internal monologue of like, only feeling, it's only, you can only be as disgusted as you can by it until you just aren't. Like, there's like a level of like, it felt like coercion or like persistence on Gaul's part.
That moment where she's like, you're repulsed. Then the second time you're slightly less repulsed. And then eventually you're not repulsed at all. And you're just doing it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if it was her perspective of what happened from her to her, or if she was being persistent to him and he was less repulsed. I couldn't tell because she was the one that came on to him at first. I don't know. It was interesting.
Yeah. It definitely felt like a lot of, I guess, self-hatred in her internal monologue. So I perceived it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you make of Havanat's perspective?
Oh yeah. I keep saying Hanavat. I catch myself even when I'm reading. It's Havanat.
No. I think it is Hanavat.
Hanavat, Havanat? Havanat.
I always say Havanat, but I think it's Hanavat. My cheat sheet says Hanavat, so that's what I'm sure it is. Sorry, I was wrong.
No worries. We might have also said the same thing, and my brain flipped it around. I think her perspective is, she just seems so noble. She has that compassion streak in her. Gaul, Gaul is just, I guess, sort of starting with like knowing her husband and feeling like the loss of losing everything. And she's like, he feels like he's lost all of his sons. She's like, I also lost all my sons, but I've also got another one right here.
Yeah. About to be born.
And the fact that he can't see that, it's, to me, I just don't have a husband anymore. Like I'm widowed in my own way. And her just sort of accepting the situation versus pining over lost love in a way, like chasing somebody who's not going to chase her. Man, every woman should learn a lesson there.
It's
don't
amazing.
Have to chase somebody who don't want you.
But also, her, like you said, her compassion, her lack of hatred toward Just Stara.
She's a girl's girl, and I'm about it.
It's very elevated, right? It's a very evolved way of thinking in a lot of ways, and it's impressive. It's a neat perspective to put in the novel, I thought.
Yeah, I do feel like, especially having seen through the previous novel, the way that women support one another is to find the weak link and gang up on them and keep the rest of them safe. And they sort of band together through their internalized and systemic misogyny in their culture.
Yeah.
And Hanavat kind of going against that in truly trying to be above it. It's really lovely.
Yeah. I mean, her last thing she says is that, when it's all said and done, I will go to her and take her into my arms.
Yeah. But
that's amazing.
And she is sort of turning the tide on everybody. She's like, but first, all of you have to.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like if I go right to her, it would be like too much.
Yeah.
But needing to sort of band together and have the support of all these people, it'll like pull enough of those threads away that when I get there, it's going to be fine.
A great line when she says, "Do not speak to me of sides. There are none. There are but people doing what they can to get by."
Beautiful.
Beautiful. The next scene is, I think, my favorite of this week. Beautiful. I picked out a large chunk of it for my end of show passage. It's Henar Vigolf, who's become one of my favorite characters in the whole series. And this wonderful recollection he has of talking to his dad and picking out a horse as a Blue Rose horse breeder. And this beautiful sort of love affair he's having with Lestara, and this kind of indomitable optimism he has, which every time it pops up with these characters, I'm so taken by that. I talked about it with Fingerless guy. Himble. But I just love this whole passage, this whole scene. I wanted to read the entire scene. It's a little too long, so I took a chunk. I pulled
the big chunk of it too. You read it; it'll be better
so
from
good.
you. It's so good. It's so good. Especially, beautiful. It's another sort of like 1-2 of like him thinking about the story and like things that are like between him and his dad, like a couple of guys hanging out picking horses and hearing his dad laugh and then immediately recounting it to Lestara and just like the name that him and his dad had for the maid. And she's like, what? And he's like, never mind that. Like how immediately
my dad came up with like, weird. It's not a thing. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
It is that perfect moment of nostalgia that you share with your friends. And you're like, oh, that was a little weird. Well, ignore that part. Ignore that weird part. Okay. That's fine. That's a family thing.
Yeah. So great. And just like the purity of their love, which is just a beautiful thing in the context of this horrible procession through hell that they're going through, Okay, so the next scene is Banishar and Tavor talking, and this is another really great scene where Banishar is just like, I got some stuff to tell you, and Tavor's like, please stop talking, and he's like, no, I know you want to hear it. And she's like, is there not any alcohol we could get to this guy?
Don't you have like a different realm you go to for just booze? Go there.
Just do not. It's just such a lovely, pairing. And he's like, I'll tell you about love. You want me to tell you about love? They would all the people would come to the priests. And what did they complain about? Romance. Blah. You know what romance is? It's math. It's just working the odds, baby, until you get to love. So great. It's and he's just pontificating, and she's like, please stop. Please stop.
I love that he's obviously a part of her plans in some way. He was invited to the reading the Deck of Dragons despite being the errant's little in, but the fact that he's always there just like has access to this inaccessible woman in this way is so funny. And this is how he uses his time.
Yeah. He's always the one like sort of speaking truth to power too. Or he's always the one, he's almost like the court jester in a lot of ways. Where he's always just like, you hear that, everybody? You got that wrong. That guy, very
and they're
funny.
like, what? And he's like, nothing. And like falling asleep in the corner a second later.
Yeah. So good. All right. The last scene of this chapter is Fiddler He's sort of watching Banishar and the adjunct talking and thinking about how these kids come up, these group of Kundral kids. He's like, I don't like kids. I always feel awkward around kids. I don't want to be a dad. And then he has this sort of full on, let's talk about the Malazan Book of the Fallen moment, which I was like, ding, 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 ding.
We got it, folks.
Yeah. Pretty cool. And he sort of makes reference to this plan that they have with the Crippled God. And he's almost saying a prayer, like speaking directly to the Crippled God.
Yeah.
I found this scene to be really intense and cool. Talking about like the historians will write about us. They'll compose a book of the fallen, but they're going to get it wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know. Thoughts? Anything?
I don't know if I had any other than the thing that made me, from my perspective, feel they're being like, I don't like kids. But I'm like, he's been this, I guess, ally, colleague in the army.
Yeah.
But to me, he's been leading a bunch of kids like this whole time.
Yeah. Well, that's how Fiddler always is, right? He hates the thing he's best at.
Yeah.
It's
like, don't make me do this reading. Oh, I'm so good at it.
Yeah. It's like, I hate being a leader. It's like, you're the best leader. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. A reluctant hero in a lot of ways.
Yes.
But he also has some really interesting moments here where he's like, I remember Whiskey Jack giving advice to that young kid. Again,
I know. Well, some merchant's kid.
I went running back to my Gardens of the Moon.
Oh, you did?
I reread that scene, the prelude, the prologue of Gardens of the Moon, where they're standing at Mock's Hold.
Yeah. And
Whiskey Jack says to him, the best life is to be not noticed. By the gods. Don't let the gods notice you. So I don't know if that's exactly.
Well, it's funny because he's hiding from them. They're all like, where the heck is the deck master?
Yeah. I mean, maybe that applies.
He is hidden. He's like, I got that null.
Yeah.
I retain that one as much.
He also has this really awesome observation where he's like, this whole thing has been a story of us and the adjuncts. Like first it was Lorne, now it's Tavor. And the adjunct is never in the center of the story, always right next to it. And that's kind of what the word adjunct means. It's like, oh, Erikson just laying it all out for us, baby. So good. But he ends with, they're going to get it wrong with the Book of the Fallen. Fallen one, we are all your children.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing this makes me think, which is classic Erikson as well, which is like, oh, the thing you've assumed the whole time, maybe rethink that. It's brilliant, which is I always assumed a Malazan Book of the Fallen would be a book of all the people that have fallen. But perhaps it is a book of the fallen.
The fallen one.
Crippled God.
Yo, that's good.
Right?
Real good.
Crazy. All right, moving on to chapter 12. All right, we are in the war, baby. This is an awesome chapter as well because we're on the front lines of the light wall rupturing and all the Tysleosin coming through. But Erikson just dumps us into it already in progress, right? Pithy's point of view, like on the front lines, shit is going.
It starts with Pithy taking her helmet off and having a big slice.
Yeah.
And then being like, whew, that was brutal. And then sort of as she's lying there, recounting what happened when things poured through and her sort of being dragged to the front lines. In my brain, Pithy was like a more not such a new warrior, but she seemed very taken by surprise by all of this. I just sort of have her, I guess, because of her naming convention, lumped in with all the other Malazans. In a way, is she even Malazan? She's Lothari. She's Malazan.
She's not Malazan. She, isn't she one of the? No, she's Lothari. You're right.
Lothari.
Yes. No. The way this plays out, I thought is just so brilliant. You're right that it starts and she's like, "Oh my God, as long as I don't have to lead anybody, I can't possibly do this. Is so horrible." And then this little kid, this little orphan boy,
messenger,
runs up and says, "Corporal Knife is down. We need you to be the leader."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh no, God. Okay, all right, lead me." And there's so many amazing just flourishes of prose, just these turns of phrase that are godly, in my opinion. The first is how she starts with the sword in her hand, and she opens her hand, and the sword like sticks there for a second, and then he says it sobs free.
Yeah.
What a verb to use for that moment. And
but
then
also just quickly to add to what you're saying, the juxtaposition of how Pithy's lines are delivered, that are her lines that she says, versus her internal monologue is like almost sheer panic. I mean, I can't do no. It's like at the very least, it is like extreme uncertainty. But every time she has a line delivered, and how you can feel the momentum of like whatever she said bolstering the people around her, where she's like, I'm not going to be good at this. I can't do leading. But then she clearly leads people in a way that gives them what they need as sort of the undercurrent to the whole thing. There's this momentum to the whole scene that I think is beautiful.
Incredible. I mean, it's amazing. The other line is the boy leads her away like a boy eager for the beach.
Yeah.
I mean, that shot me right to the heart. We all know what that is. That little kid who's so excited to go to the beach and pulling and tugging and
they're on the shore, like the visual of it.
Yes, the shore. Yes.
They're literally on what could be like in a different world at a different time, like beach day with the fam, but knowing that they're heading into like this throng of soldiers and blood and bodies is like very dark.
And it immediately makes the kid that, we immediately feel for this young boy, because she's feeling for the young boy, but also that line of just reducing it to something so innocent and pure and lovely and young, immature, that notion of just being so eager to go to the beach, but doing something so horrible as to be leading you to the front lines because this other guy got his hand chopped off and is getting it seared shut.
And BRB, getting my wrist seared shut.
By the way, we never seen Corporal Knife before, but pretty rad. Where he's like, he comes back, he's like, "All right, I'm back."
Strapped it on.
I'm back. No, I use the other hand. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
But then there's also this amazing moment where Pithy, like, she's like, "I couldn't possibly lead anybody. I don't know how to lead." Oh wait, there's a coward. Get up and fight, you coward.
Yes.
And that totally inspires everybody. And they're like, she killed the coward,
Yeah. And that moment, and her, like, the whole time she's like, I can't do this. And she's like, but what are you doing? I feel like I can't do it. I'm still walking this way. Get up. And then, but people only see that energy. And there's the swell of energy behind her. She gets to the front and she like sees the people pouring through, and she's like, this is ours, which is kind of like to me, sort of like an immature first thought of being like, hey, stop it. This is our stuff. And everybody's like, this is ours. And it becomes the call.
The rallying cry. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Awesome.
It's just an amazing sequence.
Yeah. She's there for like what feels like 1 second, but the impact she has on the way up before she basically gets sliced straight through the helmet, and then Knife is there like, I gotcha, get out of here, and she's like, okay, and like immediately falls back to recover, is like, it was such a whirlwind.
And she sees Squish and Pulley like going up to the wounded and just ending their lives, and she's like, you murderers, in her head, you know, and then they come up to her with the knife after she's been knocked down, and she's like, don't even think about it. All that stuff. It's the horror of war, but it's so intimate and personal, and you're just inside it with her.
Mm-hmm.
I just found that sequence to be masterful.
And the sequence is masterful, and we're even glossing over the fact that the kid that pulled her to the front,
I know,
immediately falls.
Yeah. And in the most horrific way.
Fray.
And the way she sees his face and trampling. And then Eden Derrig is like stacking bodies. I don't know. Maybe I'm leaping ahead.
That's after they repel them.
Yeah. Okay. So before we get that, we get Yantovis. Oh no, this is that's what happens next. So
so they repel them successfully.
Yeah, yes. They repel them successfully. This was just literally like their,
scouts.
Exactly. This wasn't the full attack, and it was already the most horrible thing ever. And they're like, no, that was just the first little push where they were just poking their head in and just seeing what was
sussing out
up.
the sitch.
Yeah.
How's it looking in here? Any bouncers? Oh, so many bouncers? Not that many bouncers.
And I love how Bedak reports to Eden Derrig and is like, hey, it was Pithy who pushed back that whole surge. And as a reader who's literally been through the horror of that with Pithy, you go like, oh, I can't wait till Eden realizes how heroic and difficult that was for her. And he's like, oh, yeah, cool. Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
It's just like, he just doesn't care at all that she did that.
He's like, somebody did their job that I asked them to do.
Yeah. And this reinforcement that Eden is the one who just does not show emotion. He's unflappable, even keeled, won't get angry, won't get scared, won't get passionate, but that's sort of his superpower, is this like dispassionate lack of emotion. Incredible.
Yeah.
And he's like stacking the bodies so that the Leosans see this like wall of their dead so that it will anger them. And Yantovis is like, that's what he does. He's going to push their buttons because his buttons don't get pushed.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, we can't seal this thing, but we can make it look sealed.
Yeah.
With their own corpses.
Yeah.
Pretty brutal.
But then we do the thing that Erikson also always does, which is then we pop over to the other side and we see from the perspective of the Leosin pulling back and their internal conflict, their opposing viewpoints of Aperol Forge and Khadgar Fant, who are arguing about like what their tactics should be. Where Forge is like, maybe we shouldn't all be drinking all the dragon blood like so much because like everybody's kind of going a little bit crazy and some of the people aren't coming back from being dragons.
All of us really like, what if we considered not veering at all? Because there's like a couple people that they're just dragons now. And, they're only going to help us as long as they feel like that is good for them. And then they'll just be dragons. So
they're going a little crazy a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
And Khadgar Fant is like, no, it's great. In fact, they'll listen to me because I am the greatest. And it's like, oh, that seems like a bad plan.
He's like, and you're not veering though. And he's like, no, people have seen me veer and they know that I'm a menace. And so that is enough for them to have that just in their memories.
Yeah. I dominate them.
Yeah.
Do you though? Do you? Because that's never a good
tell
plan.
Me, the less I believe you.
Yes. So anyway, they have this big argument about how that's supposed to work and what's the best plan. And there's a lot of, I think, references to stuff we haven't yet seen, which is, I think, a lot of the stuff that's in the other novels, like the Forge of Darkness. I think that's because he talks about the Forge and the day that somebody's wedding happened and they walked down from the light to the dark.
Yeah.
This
whole battle is
cool.
happening near this wedding arch from something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So lots of I think references to backstory and Father Light.
Would the wedding arch be? Yeah, the Father Light.
Yeah.
And Mother Dark. Were they married?
I think they had like an illegitimate kid. Isn't
that was Shadow, right? Because that's where they touch.
Isn't that Animander? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
somebody's gonna tell us that was wrong, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm sure we will be wrong about that. We get the gist. So there is a new character introduced here too. Also, Galar Throw, who is tasked with finding and killing the human leader. So I'm not exactly sure I don't know if that's Eden Derrick, because Eden Derrick is not human. He's Shake, right?
Yeah. Well, are the Shake human technically?
I don't know.
No. So because I feel like they're just talking on the other side that they're all, from my perspective, they were like, they're all human, is what it felt like to me, the way they sort of talked about it. But they also were like, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to find the leader of the army, kill him. We're going to find, is there somebody on the throne? Who is it? Kill him. We're going to do whatever else. Find all the humans. You know what we do? Kill them. Like, that's eradication is the plan.
Yeah. Yes. It seems like sound plan.
It's one of those things where like I hear somebody being like, we gotta kill all the humans. And I'm like, isn't there still like common threads of people? I guess that it's the civilization killing group.
Yeah.
That I'm like, that is not a foreign, like a purely foreign ideal of being like humans be bad.
Yeah. We got wolves who want to kill humans.
We got the Karsa.
Karsa wants to kill humans. We got, I think, even what's his name? Ikariam might be on that page a little bit. Yeah. All right. Then we pop over to Sandalath, who's full on queen in her palace where she used to walk as a kid, and she's thinking back to running through the halls as a kid. And again, tons of backstory that is referenced here that I don't think we get 100% clarity on, but it sounds fascinating, where she was in this thing called the hostage room. Yeah. Not sure why she was there. There's a season of a show called Fargo, the TV show Fargo. Mm-hmm. There's a season with actually Chris Rock is in that season, where these two around the Prohibition era, these two gangster families exchanged children as a way of like sealing their pact of their truce, where it's like, you take care of my kid, you raise my son, I raise your son. And that's what I don't know if that's what this is, but that's what it reminded me of this, like, you're a hostage, but we're like raising you here. You're in our household, but you live in the hostage room, you know?
Yeah. I also didn't know if it was like, oh, you're from the household, but this is your life. This will be your whole life. I think it's more like what you're saying, that I got like, oh, Sandalath is from somewhere else a little bit. Another family, I think, is like a good way of thinking about it.
Belong there. And we get this really dark moment where she finds the hostage room. She pulls on the lock, it breaks and falls away, and she opens the door and finds like bugs and stuff have eaten away everything in the room, and there's bones of a kid, and she realizes there was a kid who locked themselves in there because that's what they were supposed to do, and she uses this sort of locking from the inside as a metaphor for herself, this barrier that she's put up that I found this all very powerful, but also I think there's a lot of context that we are not privy to yet.
Yeah. This is the other thing that it seemed like maybe just like a trial that a young kid would be put through. It felt like a young woman would be put through because the door locks from like the side that would
From the
not
inside.
from the inside. I thought it was from the outside. Like she went outside and locked the door, being like, this will keep me safe, and then shut the door with her on the inside of it. Because the idea is like, this lock is so silly, any adult person could break this lock.
Right.
And easily access the room no matter what. It's like a facade of safety. And especially if you're locking it from the outside and you don't have then agency over what happens. There's like trust that you're just gonna.
Misplaced in this case because it led to her death.
Yeah.
But it was like she didn't even need to be in there at all.
Yeah. She put herself in there. And then Sandaleth remembering, having all these flashbacks to a time where the hostage room, what's it called when you start like liking your captor?
Oh yeah. Stockholm syndrome
with the room itself being like experiencing bad things and then running to this room as like a spot of safety, even though it clearly is a spot where bad things have happened.
Yes, and she remembers back to an interaction with Anamanda Rake, who like asks her what her deal is, and she won't say, and then he like puts his hand on her forehead and just takes the information.
Well, she is out of the room, and he's like, "How'd you get out of the hostage room? Aren't you a hostage?" And she was like, "Did he let you out? Where is he?" And she's like, "No, I was abandoned." And he's like, What do you mean by that? What did he do to you?" And she was like, "Who can say?" And then he Vulcan mind melds her.
Yeah. But it's not, we don't even know who he is in this case.
We don't.
Yeah.
But then it's one of those things that Animander's like, "Great, I'm going to kill him."
Right.
And she is so struck by the power of somebody I feel like feeling so deeply on her behalf.
Yeah.
That she's like, that's too much. And then runs back to her Stockholm room.
Yeah. I mean, it's clearly Anamander sees that something horrible has been done to Sandalath.
Yeah.
And I shudder to imagine what that is. But
there was somewhere through all of this, I'm not remembering what it was now exactly. But there was something mentioned that gave me Phyllis and the Younger vibes.
Interesting.
And then this feels like an echo of that, where like, there's somebody being talked about. Oh, I think it was actually when they were talking about the Redeemer, the priestess of the Redeemer, where it was like, oh, they were kind of like mistreated, but they said things that were like they were mutilated and mistreated and doing all those things with the idea that it will somehow cleanse them and make them be the thing that they needed to be. That is like the Phyllis and the Younger arc, who we know as like gone to a castle in Crippled God town, maybe somewhere. And we haven't heard from her at all since then, basically.
Right.
The Sandalast's sort of journey here, sort of in my brain, I'm like, oh, is Phyllis and the Younger in a hostage room somewhere?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I didn't make that connection. This scene I found to be, even though I didn't quite, understand exactly what she's referencing, it's really powerful in that she's sort of having this flashback evoked by being in her childhood home. Yeah. And then her husband, withal is there trying to help her, and she's kind of mumbling and coming in and out of this dream state. And he's like, it's okay. We're fighting. She's like, no, we can't be fighting. We're not supposed to fight. They shouldn't be fighting for me. And he's like, they're not fighting for you. They're fighting for themselves, their right to live. They're standing up for themselves. And I thought that was so poignant as well.
Yeah, their right to be themselves on their own terms, because they were only commanded before. Yeah. And it's interesting, sort of the reflection of what, not Eden, his sister, Yantovis, her being like, I am not kneeling on the beach. I'm not. Right. And they're like, you have to. That does feel like redefining the Sheikh as, we're not bending the knee to people who are commanding us. We are doing this because
for ourselves.
This is who we are. Yeah.
Yeah. She says we are all hostages.
Yeah.
Then we pop over to Eden Derrig, and he's basically saying like, well, they're coming back. We repelled them, but only briefly because they're coming back with dragons. He's like, well, we can't possibly win. Brevity is like, we can't possibly win this war. The war doesn't end. It began long ago. We can't possibly win. He's like, well, we don't have to. We can lose and still win.
Yeah.
Which is pretty powerful. He says, you can win even when you lose, because even in losing, you might still succeed in making your point.
Yeah.
In saying that you refuse the way they want it.
Mm-hmm.
I found that very powerful too.
Yeah.
So then the attack begins, and we pop over to, this is another little sequence that I pulled, another of my favorite moments of this entire week. New character. Charles, just this grunt on the front lines, had to take care of her two brothers in the shit, thinking about it. Just so powerful. And Yindarig, comes and basically swoops in at the end and saves her. I thought that was, it's an amazing sequence.
Yeah.
I pulled some of it.
And even starting that sequence with like thinking about where she's at on these front lines, and they're like, battle's coming. And she's like, hey, I love you guys.
Yeah, I know. That's part of the part. It's just amazing. Just so beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. So then the final scene is, sorry. The final scene is, we're going. Pithy tells Brevity that they gotta take the companies, and we're going to fight this fight.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of leave on more of that.
Yeah, and the one thing that they said was like, "Hey, go back, keep the Lethari company in reserve. I need them fresh when I need them."
Yeah,
and that's it.
That's it. So those are the two chapters we had this week. I thought they were awesome. I have two sequences. Both of them are a little lengthy.
I also do. And I know we have one that's the same one.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you like to start?
I will start.
Okay.
Where is it? Here we are. Oh, I have three. Yeah.
Well, good. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, great. This is Pores and Himble.
Love it. Love it.
They're not fools, Himble. The fools are dead. Just the wise ones left. Wise, sir, like you and me. Precisely. Now sit yourself down here and get ready to scribe. Tell me when you're set. Pores resumed pacing. Himble drew out his field box of stylus, wax tablets, and wick lamp. From a sparker, he lit the lamp and warmed the tip of the stylus. When this was done, he said, "Ready, sir?" Write the following. Private missive from Lieutenant Master Sergeant Field Quartermaster Pores to Fist Kindly. Warmest salutations and congratulations on your promotion, sir. As one might observe from your advancement, and indeed mine, cream doth rise, etc. Inasmuch as I am ever delighted in corresponding with you, discussing all manner of subjects in all possible idioms, alas, this subject is rather more official in nature. In short, we are faced with a crisis of the highest order. Accordingly, I humbly seek your advice and would suggest we arrange a most private meeting at the earliest convenience. Yours affectionately, Pores. Got that, Himble? Yes, sir. Please read it back to me. Himble cleared his throat, squinted at the tablet. Pores to kindly. Meet in secret when? Excellent. Dispatch that at once, Himble. Before or after the one to the adjunct? Before, I think. Did I not say a crisis of the highest order? Love it.
So good. So good. And then the payoff of him reciting it verbatim.
Well, the payoff of him
Just
showing up so bumbling, delivering the wax tablet. Literally the page before, they're like, man, it's hot out here. Delivers the wax tablet. They're like, this is wax, buddy boy. It's melted. I hope you memorized it. And he goes, I guess so. And then recites the flowery language.
Just baller. Total
so good.
baller.
So good.
All right. This is Hinar Weigolf's recollection of his dad. There is not a horse in the wide world, Hanar, happy to choose a rider, not one beast eager to serve, not one is delighted at being broken, its will beaten down. Are they any different from you and me? But dogs, by the black-winged Lord Hanar, dogs are bred to be four-legged slaves. Ever seen a wolf smile? Trust me, you don't want to, ever. They smile right before they lunge for your throat. Never mind dogs. He pointed with his cane. Those animals are wild. They have lived in utter freedom. So, see one you like? That piebald one off to the left on its own. His father grunted. A young stallion, not yet strong enough to contest the ranks. Not bad, Hanar, but I'm, well, surprised. Even from here, one animal stands out, really stands out. You're old enough, have been around me enough, too. I would have thought you'd seen straight off. I did, Father. What is it, then? Do you feel you do not deserve the best out there? Not if it means breaking them. His father's head had rocked back then, and he'd laughed, loud enough to startle the herd. Recalling that moment of his youth, the huge warrior smiled. Remember that day, Father? I bet you do. And if you could see me now, see the woman walking at my side, why, I can almost hear that beautiful roar of your laughter. One day, Father, I will bring her to you. This wild, free woman. We'll step onto that long white road, walk between the trees. They must be big by now. And up through the estate gate. I'll see you standing by the front entrance like a statue commanding the stone itself. New lines on your face, but that hooked grin still there, in a beard now gone gray. You're leaning on your cane, and I can smell horses, like a flower's heady scent on the air, and that scent will tell me that I've come home. I'll see you studying her, noting her height, her lithe confidence, the boldness in her eyes, and you'll wonder if she's broken me. Not the other way around. You can see that. Not the other way around. But then you'll look into my eyes, and your smile will broaden, and you'll tilt back that majestic head and laugh to the heavens. It will be the sweetest sound in the world. It will be the voice of our triumph. All of us. You, me, her. Father, I do miss you.
Well read.
Thank you. I love that whole scene. It goes on. It's not even the end.
I pulled the second half.
Oh,
of
do it. Great. Perfect.
Okay, one sec. I'm operating with the Kindle, not the photo, so it takes a second.
I'm on Dead Tree today. Look at me.
Oh wow! Look at you.
Look at me, Dead Tree.
Okay, so there's a little bit of a time skip before it's the second part that I pulled. That is basically him sort of relaying this to Lestara. I had a maid once at the country estate. Watermelon tits and big... What? My father is terrible with names, so he came up with memorable descriptions. Anyway, she used to tell me stories at night. Long, rambling tales of heroes. Loves lost, loves won. She'd make every ending sweet. To make the night's dreams just the same, you see? Just what a child needs, I suppose. But those stories weren't for me. They were for her. She was from the coast, and she'd left behind a man she loved. This was Lether, don't forget, and her whole community was trapped in the indebted way of life. It's why she came to work for our family. As for the young man, well, he was sent to sea. He was silent for a moment, remembering, and then he said, every night she told me how she wanted her life to turn out. Though, of course, I didn't realize it at the time, but the truth of it was she wanted that happy ending. She needed to believe in it, for her and for everyone else. Lestara sighed. What happened to her? As far as I know, she's still there at the country estate. Are you trying to break my heart, Hanar? He shook his head. My father worked the system as best he could, and he was not unkind with his indebted. About a year before I left to train with the Lancers, Watermelon Tits with Big Eyes married the son of one of our house trainers. My last vision of her, her belly was out to here, and those tits were even bigger. She'd given up on her man from the sea then. Well, probably wise, I suppose, part of growing up. Hanar eyed her and then away, out over the rocky landscape. I think about her every now and then. He grinned. I even used to fantasize about her. Yes, in the way young men will do. The grin faded, but mostly I see her sitting on the edge of the bed, her hands flying and her eyes getting wider, and in that bed is her own child, a boy, who will dream sweet dreams. And when the lantern is turned down, when she's standing by the door to his room, that's when the tears will run down her cheeks, and she'll remember a young man on the edge of the sea.
Beautiful. It's beautiful writing. And then the fact that he uses that as a way to tell her, like, I don't think we're going to die.
Yeah.
You know, I believe in the power of our love, really.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Whole lifetime in those paragraphs.
Yeah. All right. This is the part of that Charles scene, this new character, Charles. The sheikh understood the two sides of the shore, the drawing close, the falling apart. Those sides lived in their blood, and in all the ghettos where dwelt the remnants of her people, the fates washed back and forth, and sometimes it was all one could do to simply hang on. She had led them out of childhood, but more than that, she had tried to lead them away from something else, something far crueler. The sense of failure that hung thick in the neighborhood, the kind of failure that slunk through the alleys with drawn knives, that stepped over bodies lying in the rubbish, the kind of failure that unleashed hatred upon those who would seek a better life, those who would dare rise above their wretched station. She had seen a clever boy beaten to death outside her shelter by his cousins. The Theri mission sent people into communities, building roads out, roads to take the sheikh away from their misery. It was pointless. Charles had seen as much again and again. Outsiders never understood how a people could eat themselves from the inside out. She was thinking about that as she set her boots in the sand and adjusted the heavy pike in her hands, flanked by her brothers, with all of the sheikh formed up to face this enemy of strangers. They stood on the first shore, bathed in the eerie rain of nightfall, and she wondered if this was to be the last moment for her and the boys. How quickly would her family vanish from the world of the living? Which of them would be the first to fall? Which the last? I'm scared. By the deeps, I am scared. Capable Charles, oh, see how that lie shines on this day. I will try to keep them alive. I will do all I can. Mother, they said they found your body in a ditch outside the town. Where were you going? What road were you building? Castle, oh Ruth, I love you both.
Beauty.
My wife is the oldest of three, and her youngest sister, they're all girls, and her youngest sister is 10 years younger, quite younger. And she had to be the responsible one, the caregiver for her youngest daughter at a very young age. Mm. It resonated with me that just it's such a like how he can paint a complete picture in such a brief amount of time. And this notion of this capable Charles, right? She's the one. She's there to take care of them. and she feels it to be a lie,
Mm-hmm.
Powerful stuff. And such a brief, like just a new character, just a cast off little window into a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. You had one more, right?
I did, but that was such a lovely ending. I don't want to.
Okay. It's up to you. Okay. I don't mean to do that, but
no. I think I like ending with, I don't know, powerful. It's a powerful book. There's powerful scenes that go by in just an absolute flash, and being able to live in them for a little longer is very meaningful to me.
Agreed. Thanks, folks, for hanging out with us. We got 2 more chapters next week, I believe. Isn't that correct?
A twofer.
A twofer. All right. We'll see you then. Please, I hope in the interim you get a chance to dance.
When the world's too dark of a place to be, and you need an escape from reality, open up those pages, sci-fi or fantasy, whatever genre you please. And join a book club, 'cause you won't read it on your own. Join a book club, so you'll be held accountable. It's just a means to an end, but you're doing it with your friends, so join the book club.